The Gallowgate Shots podcast is sponsored by Tyre Spot, the North East's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the GallowgateShots YouTube channel and podcast. We are back. It is first thing on a Thursday morning. It is Halloween, and it was more of a treat than a trick last night, Nickel, as Newcastle United got instant payback with Chelsea as we won the game 2-0 and progressed to the next round of the Carabao Cup. As you can tell me, I'm absolutely buzzing with that result. I think there's quite a few things to talk about in the game and a lot of improvements from Newcastle's point of view, something which we're desperate to see this season. And it feels like there's been that win last night has kind of revived the fans to a certain extent, because I think we're all a little bit down of how things were going. Decent performances, but the results just weren't adding up. But we've finally got a win. We're finally seeing the team photo in the changing room as well. It's been a long time since we've seen that, but let's just jump straight into the likes of the reaction to the Chelsea victory, Nickel. So, first of all, the few changes. We're expecting changes from Eddie Howe. There has been a lot of talk this season about how Newcastle need to start winning things, and the players of most interviews that the players do when they're asked about likes of Premier League or the cup competitions, they always say that the club needs a trophy. So we weren't sure if there's going to be many changes, because obviously if you're going to win a trophy, you probably want your best starting 11 and your best players to feature in the game. But having said that, there's a couple of changes. So Emil Kraft comes in at right back. We'll also see Kelly come in. We'll see Longstaff return into midfield as well. And Joe Willock comes in to that as well. Gordon back from injury as well, despite Eddie Howe doing his usual thing and saying that he's not sure. Anthony Gordon needs to go for a scan. Little do we know, next day, he's in the starting 11 against Chelsea. So were you shocked by any of the changes, or were you pretty much expecting it? Because Eddie Howe has been quite bold with likes of dropping Bruno.
No, I think some of the changes were expected. So expected Lloyd Kelly to come in some way. I didn't know whether he would play a left back though. Didn't necessarily think Kraft would come in. I thought Tino would continue at right back because he's been playing okay. But as we'll get onto, I'm sure Kraft was brilliant last night. I expected Longstaff to come in, but I did think it would be Tonali to be the one that dropped out of the midfield. But it was Bruno, which was a little bit of a surprise. And then Gordon. I did think Gordon would come back. After watching the press conference on Tuesday, I thought that it sounded like he was going to be okay. So I wasn't too shocked. And then up front, I thought it would be Isak over Osula, because obviously you're saying we want to advance as much as we can, so you've got to play your strong players.
100%. I think we need to go through a couple of player performances as well before we start looking at the game, because like you mentioned, Emil Kraft, I know Emil Kraft has a lot of people there saying that if you want to advance as a football club, Emil Kraft can't be that backup right back, which I get to a certain extent, but at this moment in time, we don't have European football, so Emil Kraft comes in, and you know what it is? I thought he done a fantastic job last night. He done really well when needed, when he's called upon. He does a very steady job, and even more so last night. I really thought he came in and proved a point to say, actually, I can do what I'm asked.
Yeah. So I mean, if all are fit, then he's probably the third choice right back, isn't he? And he's not. That's not a bad third choice right back. If he
far from it, no.
He can also cover in at centre half if needed. But he was really solid last night. He just did the basics really well. He kept their winger quiet, and he even got forward at one point. He went on a bit of a run, and and knew he got a chance out of it. So yeah, he was
He
brilliant.
did, yeah. He did advance, and very similar to what we've seen Tino do as well this season, where he just picks up the ball and he's away with it. If we jump over to the other side of the field, to the left-hand side, Lewis Hall, I thought he had a fantastic game last night, and I've said it a couple of times when we've been doing podcasts, especially on the Monday night show that we do, that each game that passes, he seems to improve and progress, and I thought it was the same last night. He looked fantastic.
Yeah, I think he is improving every game. Because I have been a bit unsure of him defensively, but I think he's getting better, and he's definitely really good. He's a good outlet going forward, and he's good on the ball as well. So he can kind of get us out of some sticky situations sometimes. But he did play well in the league fixture on Sunday, because obviously he set the goal up for Isaac. Good ball in.
Yeah,
I think he's good at whipping the ball in with that left foot. There's just not always somebody in the middle, unfortunately. So I don't think we see it as much.
Yeah, true.
But I think if we had a one or two more in there, then yeah, we would get a few more assists. But yeah, very good again last night, and obviously against his old club, and he put a little post on saying he enjoyed that one. So yeah,
100%. Yeah,
a few Chelsea fans aren't happy with him, but yeah.
Yeah, well, Chelsea fans, when we signed him, said that you've got a decent prospect there, and he looks like he could morph into a good player. And we're starting to see that now. I know it's still a way off, but like I said, he is progressing rather than going the other way. So fingers crossed, it has been a great investment. But so far, so good from Lewis Hall. If we look alongside him, as like you mentioned, Kelly came in instead of Dan Burn. And once again, it's a solid performance, a really, really solid performance. And I've been a bit on the fence with the signing of Kelly. I know, obviously, we were linked with Torsten earlier on in the transfer window, but obviously he decided to go to Chelsea, featured last night as well. But Kelly comes in, he was a free agent. We're bringing years on a high wage. We know that was always going to happen with like a free agent. We knew he wasn't going to get much game time. Like you said, he can fill in he can play at left back as well. But he had this centre back partnership with Fabian last night, and do you know what it is? He looked good. He really did look good, and he pulls off a great challenge. I think it's once we're already 2-0 up. There's a great challenge with Chelsea on the counter attack, and he just absolutely wipes the player out. And I think it's Felix he may wipe out. But he very, very solid performance from Kelly.
Yeah, I don't think he could have done anything more. When he's got his chance, he's come in. I was sorry, I meant to say before, I was a bit surprised that Dan Burn didn't play, because I mean Dan Burn plays probably most of the games every season. Under Eddie Howe, he has really. So I was a bit surprised to see him out, and then Fabian Schär as captain as well was a bit of a shock. Yeah, but yeah, Kelly was again couldn't have done anything more when he's been asked to come in. He has been a little bit shaky at left back, I've thought, but I think. In his more natural position of left centre back last night, he was brilliant. He made a really
lucky not to get the goal as well, because if it isn't the fact for the own goal, Kelly just stood behind waiting for to tap that ball in the back of the net. So very unlucky.
Yeah, he could have tapped it in. But yeah, he made one block, like he said, in the first half, and then he did one in the second half as well. Both of them point blank range. Diving in front of them. So yeah, it was excellent, really.
One of the players, I know we're probably going through the full set of players here, because there were so many great performances last night. I thought overall as a team we looked fantastic. That high pressure was back, and was so far up the field trying to win the ball back, and Chelsea just couldn't cope with that. Chelsea, when I was listening to the Coventry and looking at things back now from pundits, a lot of pundits are basically, as they always do when you come against a big team, saying that Chelsea weren't very good, they weren't up to it. But Chelsea weren't very good because what we were doing, we just weren't letting them breathe in their own half. And every time they got the ball and tried to pass it out, because that's what they're trying to do, pass it out from the back from the goalkeeper, the pressure was on instantly. We saw it in the first couple of minutes when Gordon closes them down on the right hand side. But a couple of other players mentioned. Longstaff returns in. I know I did the starting 11 prediction video, and I got a lot of crap on the back of that for saying I thought Longstaff would come back in, because I think something has been missing since Longstaff hasn't been featured in the last handful of Premier League games. Starting the lineup. People saying if Longstaff starts, Newcastle United will lose. I think Longstaff, once again, when he comes into that team, I think you realise what you're missing when he's out of it. And there's even times throughout the game where, yes, we all know he's not the best of players. He's not great at picking passes out across the field. We know that's not what his job is. But when we are under pressure, he knows where he needs to be 9 out of 10 times, and he is a solid backup to the likes of the defensive line, and he's always going to be there. It's later on in the game as well where he comes up and he just mops it up at the back, and I thought it was a great performance from Longstaff.
Yeah, it's kind of always been the same with him, hasn't it? He's always done stuff that people don't really notice. It's not really the flash stuff. It's more defensive positioning and reading of the game that he does really well, and obviously allowing our more talented midfielders to get on the ball and get forward a bit, which is what Joe Willock's really good at, and we've seen that last night. And I think we saw the best of Sandro last night as well, because
100%.
I said on the preview, and I've been saying that since he's come back, I've not seen exactly what he does and what the great. What I know he's a good player and he's got good qualities, and I'm sure he will be really good for us. But since he's returned, we haven't seen the best of him. I think we did last night, and I think Longstaff does contribute to that. And I did see a stat. This might be a Decker stat, but I did see a stat that like the last 6 games that Longstaff plays, we haven't lost.
It could be right, because I'm sure there was
probably rings true, to be fair, because
it was a very similar stat last season or the season before, where he missed out through injury, missed X amount of games, and we just couldn't get a win from the back. And we're not saying Longstaff is the reason why we're not winning games. We're not saying that, but it was good to see him come into the team and deliver as well, because it would have been horrible if we had brought him into the team and we lose the game, because that gives people a reason to say, oh, it's Longstaff's fault for that.
Well, he's an easy target, isn't he? Like,
of course he is, 100%.
Any of the Geordie lads. And he almost got a goal as well, chalked off offside, but it was a well-worked kick routine, actually.
Yeah, they kept on saying as well through the punditry that VAR, but I'm pretty confident there was no VAR last night, because the cup games don't have it. And they kept on saying, there was at one point we're making substitutions, and I think it was Darren Ambrose on comms, and he was saying, oh, there seems to be a delay, there must be checking VAR, and it was possible penalty in Chelsea. And I was like, what are you talking about, man? Like, you're absolutely full of shit. But yeah, you mentioned Tonali. Tonali comes in, and we've had a lot of concerns in regards to the midfield three, when it's Bruno, Joelinton, and Tonali, and who is supposed to be playing where, and what their overall point is as a trio, and what the message is when they're going out there. Sandro has been put on the right hand side when he has been playing games, with Bruno in the middle and Joelinton on the left hand side of that. Last night we see Tonali in the centre, basically where Bruno normally plays. And do you know what it is? I think hands down that's probably his best game for Newcastle. If you're looking at the stats, I believe he did get man of the match last night. But if you're looking at the overall stats in regards to the 22 players on the field, he pretty much tops every single rank of that. So chances created, he created 3, which ranks him first out of every player on the field. Touches, he had 55 touches, which ranks him second. Total passes, 41, once again second. Pass accuracy, 90.2%, which is fantastic. That ranked him second. And possession won in the final third. He won that 2 times, which ranked him first at the top of that board as well. It honestly, such a great performance from Tonali. And like you said, I think he's needed it as well. But it just shows that maybe there is a bit of a problem when it's Bruno, Tonali, and Joelinton in the midfield. So I know on Monday night show, I titled that one Even More Questions. I think Eddie Howe's got even more now after that performance from the lads that came in and did a job as well, because even if we move further up the field, you've got the arrival of Joe Willock and Joelinton back on that left-hand side and chopping and changing, which worked fantastic a couple of seasons ago. Was saw it again last night, exactly the same. Yeah. Then you look on the other side, Gordon on the right-hand side had a great game on the right-hand side. So there's even more questions, and Eddie Howe's got a lot of answers to be given.
Yeah. I mean, we sing about Bruno in the middle, but maybe it's time to move him out of the middle and put him towards the right a little bit. Because, Tonali, that was his best game since he's come back, I think. I think his best game ever for us is probably that Villa 5-1
game, possibly. Yeah.
But since he's come back from his ban, I'd say last night, he obviously was able to get on the ball a bit more, and he obviously had a big hand in the first goal as well. Because he got the assist. He got the assist, didn't he, from the high press? I think it was Joelinton.
It's a high press. Joelinton
the mistake, and then Tonali pops it through for Isaac. But I think it's got to be him in that number 6 centre role from now on. I think I want to see that on Saturday. I know he did play 90 minutes as well last night, which was something he hasn't done, I don't think, since he's come back.
I think he got taken off right at the dying minutes of the game, didn't he?
Yes,
he was substituted at the dying minutes of the game.
Right at the end. But yeah, he didn't go off in 60 minutes as he has done.
Yeah, because I think Miley replaced him, if I remember right. I'm pretty sure it was Miley that replaced him.
He got a couple of minutes, which was also nice to see. I'll say that Lewis Miley, it's nice to see him come back. So I didn't think I didn't know whether he was going to start, but yeah, it was nice to
bulked up as well. Has Lewis Miley bulked up? It looks like he's got a set of new Nashas as well, by the looks of it as well.
Yeah,
Pearly whites in there. Do you know what it is? Let's go through the likes of key moments in the game. We spoke about the players, but let's go through the key moments. So the first goal, we've already touched on it. It's that high press. Once again, it's that pressure. It's Joe Linton that closes it down. The Chelsea are calling for a foul at that point. Not a chance. He's just stronger. He's quick out of the ball, wins it. And like I said, Tonali lays off Isak. Great finish from Isak as well. Something that we've been desperate for this season. We know how much of a clinical finisher Isak has been in the past forward, but struggled at points this season, making the wrong decisions in crucial moments of the game. Great goal last night. Took it really well.
Yeah, I think there was sort of a 5 or 10 minute period when we scored the 2 goals, when we really had them on the ropes. We had them, and you thought, I was there thinking, this is like the old Newcastle at home. This is like the away team is struggling here. The atmosphere was up definitely for that 10 minutes. It was like it has been for the last 2 years.
It's because we're shooting towards a Gallowgate, Nickel. That's why, because we haven't done it for so long.
Yes,
and do you know what it is? It's because Bruno can't win a coin toss, so maybe that's a reason to drop him as well at home.
Yeah, because Shaw won it straight away, didn't he?
Yeah.
I didn't know whether Bruno was on purposely doing that, because I'm sure we haven't really kicked towards the Gallowgate second half.
We haven't. It's been a nightmare since he's been captain. We're never shooting towards Gallowgate.
But yeah, there was about a 10-minute spell when we got them 2 goals where we had Chelsea, and they couldn't really. They lost control, because for most of the game they did have a lot of control of the ball, but didn't really do much with it. But yeah, they were giving it away, and it was Vieira in the middle who gave it away.
Yeah.
He gave it away twice in quick succession. We knew he scored again straight from the restart, and then obviously we get the second goal. I don't know how many minutes was between the two, but it felt
like I think it was 3 minutes. Yeah, I think it was approximately 3 minutes. But it's great play. It's Lewis Hall, isn't it? That takes the quick free kick. To put Isak down on the left hand side, and it's a great little dink into the box from Isak, which we've seen him do before as well. Which is headed on by Willock. Willock, credit to Willock. He tries to claim that goal. He's off in the corner celebrating like it's his. Willock knocks it on, and like I said, it is an own goal. Unlucky, we mentioned earlier on that the player is there. Unfortunately, Caddy couldn't put it in the back of the net. But at that point, 2-0 up, I honestly thought, like you mentioned, the pressure that we put on, I thought we were going to batter them in the first half.
Yeah.
Like we were up for that last night, and like I said, there was more chances in the game. Just to wrap it up, because I don't want to go on too long with this one, but there's more chances where you've got. Well, I didn't even mention the Joe Linton miss in the first couple of moments of the game, where this is why Joe Linton isn't a striker. If you needed any more proof, this is why he's not a striker. So we've seen him do this so many times, where he tries to knock it in. I think it just hits off his knee, then goes and just completely misses the target. But that's Joe Linton for you when he's left in front of goal. But then there's another chance later on when Asula came on. Asula, I thought he'd done really well when he came on. He gets about 25, 30 minutes. Yeah. Does really well. When he comes on, always wanting the ball, constantly asking for the ball. And there's one point where he's screaming at Tino when Tino's on the field as well for not playing him through. Tino makes the wrong choice and goes to the left-hand side rather than playing Asula in, and he hits the post at one point as well. Great turn, picks the ball up, just turns back in on himself. It's like snaps at the shot really. Then it if that's on target, I don't think the keeper's getting it. Hits the post. But I thought overall, in regards to the lads that came into the starting 11 and the substitutes which Eddie Howe made in the game, I thought every single one of them delivered.
Yeah, I think they did. I think, as you say, Asula, he got the longest he's had since he's joined. He got half an hour, and obviously we didn't have the ball much in the second half, so he was a bit isolated.
Yeah,
but he chased everything down. He held the ball up a little bit better than what Isak probably would have done in the last half an hour, because he would have tired as well. And obviously he got that shot away and hit the post, which was unlucky.
He was devastated when he hit the post as well.
Yeah,
I think he thought it was in.
I feel like everybody in the crowd just wants him to do well as well. I think everyone feels a little bit sorry for him because of the way he's not really been playing. And obviously we've got that brilliant chant from him as well. But yeah, we all the subs that came on did well. Tino was right winger, I think he was pretty much when he was on.
I think the press was so high on the counter attack because every time we had a counter attack, we looked dangerous, and I think everybody was in that half act as soon as we got the ball and won it back. Everybody was pushing forward.
But yeah, I think it's a good night overall for confidence. That'll probably do the team's confidence. Obviously, Isak's got another goal, so that's 2 in a week. Which is good for him.
Clean sheet for Nick Pope as well after the mistake he made with Chelsea in the Premier League game.
The whole defence.
True.
Even the 2 lads coming in, that'll give them a boost. And it'll probably make them think. I would say, especially Lloyd Kelly will be thinking, "Am I going to get a chance in the league again soon?" And
I think Nick Pope, even Nick Pope last night, he had a good game. Sometimes coming punching the ball randomly rather than collecting it. He loves to punch the ball recently. He did collect it a couple of times. I'm not saying he didn't, but he did collect it. But he seems to punch at it quite a lot. But when called upon, he made some decent saves. I don't think anything really tested him that much. But there's a couple of long distance shots from Chelsea throughout the game where he does pretty well to get down to them and parry them away from goal. So honestly, really, really solid team performance. And I think, like I said at the very start, this is something we've probably needed, not just as a fan base, but as a football club as well, because players' confidence will be up now heading into that game against Arsenal, which is always going to be a tough game. It's early kickoff on Saturday, so we know that when the St James's Park crowd get up for it, that then we can be that 12th man. We've seen it before with Arsenal when Arsenal crumbled the last game of the season. So this is exactly what we need. Like I said, Nicola, I think that it's kind of revived it. I know only 9 Premier League games in the season, but it seems like there's been a bit of a revival last night with that win and progressing into the cup. And just to mention it as well, Brentford at home, that's probably one of the better ties that we could have asked for last night. So if you've signed up for the likes of the cup scheme, there's 20 quid coming out your account soon enough. Another home game. So do you know what it is? It's looking good. What were 2 games away from Wembley?
Yeah, at least we're getting the most out of the cup scheme, because I'm sure last season when I signed up for we got one home game and it was Man City. But yeah, Brentford at home. I think that was one of 3 of the best options we could have had, especially being at home as well. We're not usually blessed with cup ties. We're normally away.
Far from it.
It's normally one of the big boys as well. So, I mean, if we do get through Brentford, which let's hope we do, the next one will be a hard one because it'll probably be Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, or United.
Yeah, it's probably one of the favourites. One of the favourites you're playing.
So that'll be over 2 legs though, which is a bit better. So yeah, it's good to avoid one of the so-called big boys, and obviously Brentford are no slouches. That'll be a difficult game still. And I think the problem that we have at home is if a team comes and just sits, we struggle more than if like Chelsea come and try to play. So
to be fair though, I don't think Brentford are that team under Thomas Frank that they like to play attacking football. Hence, you saw Ipswich take the 2-0 lead against them. Then they came back and won it because of that. The way the player that didn't change the way they set up.
No, they're a good team, Brentford. So that'll be a hard game, but still one of the more favourable draws. So
100%.
We fancy ourselves to get through the semi-final.
Yeah, and I think those games are played the 2nd week in December, I think it is. Hopefully a nice little early Christmas present for progressing into what would it be? It'll be the semi-finals at that point.
Semi-final, 2 legs,
Yeah, so fingers crossed, mate. But yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing with that result last night. Really am buzzing. Hopefully a turning point in our season. Yes, we know we do have Arsenal coming up, which it's going to be hard to keep that momentum up against Arsenal. But do you know what it is? Why not, mate?
Why not? Never back the early kickoff.
Exactly. Thanks everybody who has joined us today looking at this review as well. If you're watching on YouTube, just like the video. It means a lot to us. Become a subscriber if you do want to do so. If you want to give an extra bit back, it is just $2.99 a month to become a member. You get early access to videos as well and extra content, which others don't. If you're listening to the audio as well, whatever platform you're listening to this one on, just give us a 5-star review as well. Leave a little comment as well. Helps us out massively if you go ahead and do that. But yeah, thanks, Nickel. I'll see you next time. What should we do?
Thank you.
Ta-ra.